We are going to look at the saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen as a function of the partial pressure of oxygen. So first, what is hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. It can carry up to 4 oxygen molecules at a time, so it can have different degrees of saturation. The partial pressure of oxygen is how much oxygen is contributing to the total pressure of air in the environment. So let's start. Here we have a vial of blood, and we are going to add air with certain partial pressures of oxygen through applying pressure to this syringe. Let's start with a partial pressure of 2 kilopascals. We push the syringe in. Look at the oxygen we are adding. This is the degree of saturation. At 2 kilopascals of oxygen, partial pressure, the hemoglobin molecules have 1 oxygen molecule each. That is 25% saturation. Now let's go to 4. Partial pressure of 4 kilopascals. We add this to the vial. Now, hemoglobins have either 2 or 3 oxygen molecule on them. This is a higher saturation of oxygen in hemoglobin because we have a higher partial pressure of oxygen. Let's go to 6 kilopascals. Here, some of the hemoglobin molecules are fully saturated. They have 4 oxygen molecules each, while the rest have 3. So we don't have a full saturation, but we are reaching full capacity of this blood to carry oxygen. Notice in the graph that we have saturation at 80% at this point. Now let's increase the partial pressure to 12 kilopascals. What do you think will happen at this point? We are almost at 100% saturation. Almost all of the hemoglobin molecules are fully saturated with 4 oxygen molecules each, and the minority still have space for 1 oxygen molecule. So do you think we will reach full capacity at 16 kilopascals of partial pressure of oxygen? Well, let's find out. And the answer is yes, we reached 100% saturation at 16 kilopascals of oxygen. So this is how we look at the saturation of hemoglobin. And if you notice a pattern, the saturation of hemoglobin is directly proportional to the partial pressure of oxygen. So simply, the more oxygen you have in the blood, the more oxygen hemoglobin is going to carry until it reaches full capacity, full saturation. So this is the dissociation curve for human hemoglobin. As partial pressure of oxygen increases, the percentage of saturation of hemoglobin is going to increase until it reaches a maximum capacity, 100%, at 16 kilopascals.